Hi everyone, Big Thinny Feel Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new The Chats record, Get Friended. This is the sophomore full-length LP from a bunch of naughty punks from Queensland who dropped their debut a couple of years ago, High Risk Behavior, which was a pretty meat and potatoes punk album that had some rockin' tracks on it, but was maybe a little too one-dimensional to say too much about, because with The Chats, pretty much what you see is what you get. Lots of raw, wild, shouty lead vocals, brittle and thin punk riffs and bass lines, very blunt and propulsive drumming, and there's a pretty even blend of punk styles going into their music as well, from classic stuff that dates back to the 70s, more modern hardcore shit, as well as garage punk. The band's reference points seem to have widened a little bit as well on this new record. Yes, of course, once again, you do get the brattiness of like a Sex Pistols LP or a Germs album, but then also that satirical tongue-in-cheek style of humor like that of either the Buzzcocks or Dead Milkmen. Lots of plain-as-day chord changes on these tracks too, a la the Ramones, sometimes delivered with the ferocity and speed of a Black Flag or Minor Threat record. And of course, there are a lot of rock and roll solos and hooks throughout these cuts as well that, fit very much in line with that garage punk flavor. And of course, you get that extra helping of Australian pizzazz, which comes mostly by way of the vocals of frontman Eamon Sandwith. So yeah, coming away from this thing, I found a bit more versatility to be had on this LP than I had with the band's debut. Some more standout choruses as well, like on the intro 6-liter GTR. Don't need a big flash fancy car, just need a 6-liter GTR. All delivered with riffs and drums that are nowhere near new as far as punk standards go, but the Chats play them as if they're new, and I think that says a lot. Plus, on top of that, Sandwith's lead vocals are just really rough and disgusting to the ears in a good way, just like wheels screeching on the pavement. The song Struck by Lightning is even more aggressive and catchy and is essentially an account of being struck by lightning with some amped call and response vocals that I love a lot. There's also Panic Attack, which is an intense description of what it's like to have one, with your heart beating out of your chest and emotionally feeling like you've regressed back to being a 3-year-old, plus the very tight and punctuated riffs and calls of tack, 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 tack on the chorus make this moment more of a tension build than a release. The band also rebels against authority in their own way, as many punk bands do, on cuts such as Ticket Inspector, which may seem like a silly topic to focus on for an American, but I guess down under there's been recorded instances of these guys assaulting drivers for things like fare evasions. Having the biggest power trip over the smallest things seems to be a universal truth. And writing-wise, I love the Chats' hilarious mockery of their violence and persistence with bars like, "Run, run, I'm still gonna get you can't hide from me, I'm a ticket inspector." There's also The Price of Smokes, which the song is about that going up, which on the surface may seem like a pretty boring song idea or a very basic gripe, but I like that this track essentially escalates into an enraged call to hang every member of parliament that went somewhere pretty crazy fast. The moments of blue-collar blues on this LP is really where the Chats shine the most, whether that be on Paid Late, which is about your money making it to the ATM not on time, having to throw your fist through the screen as a result. Soundtracked, again, by very tight drums, brittle bass and guitars, nasty, disgusting, vicious, snide vocals, and we also get a cautionary tale with the track Out on the Street, which is about someone so hard-headed and just refusing to listen to reason that they pushed away everyone around them, and now they are essentially alone, without help, without support, and living out on the street. Which, there may be more to that story than what is portrayed, but at least from what is said here, it tracks. I'll give the Chats artistic license on this one. There's also the wild lad humor of I've been drunk in every pub in Brisbane, with not only hooky riffs, but also lots of hilarious rhymes about every bar and pub the band has been drunk in or kicked out of. As far as moments on this project that don't really stick with me, there are some very ferocious and almost a fast-paced hardcore type spots on the front end that almost breeze by me, be that with Bago Breakout or Southport Superman. Dead on Sight is a pretty interesting track in that it involves involves some kind of gruesome tales of accidental deaths, but not really that many. I think a few more verses could have filled this cut out. And while I do appreciate that the closing track is almost like 2 songs in one, neither of them really end up being a favorite of mine here. Plus, the transition from one to the other is a bit awkward anyway. But overall, I'd say this is a really solid and enjoyable punk record. The riffs and writing may be a bit plain here and there, and again, the bass, drums, guitars, vocals are all dry as fuck. There's not much color to be had instrumentally or production-wise, but I feel like the album art here pretty much already makes that plain as day. This is a grimy-ass album in black and white with absolutely nothing to hide. But I will say the Chats are working with more details in the picture they're giving us this time around, be it through the choruses and song ideas. Very fun, kick-ass LP, and punk just as the way it should be, especially if you're a purist type. I'm feeling a decent 2 strong 7 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, the Chats of Forever.